This week on the podcast, we're going to talk about beyond the financial metrics here with Sean. So let's get into the conversation this week. My friend, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good to talk with you as always. So let's talk about how the firm, manages, success, right? So what does success look like in your guys' eyes beyond just the financial metrics? Because obviously you want the financial plan to work,
Right.
and accomplish what the client wants to have accomplished. But how else do you guys measure success?
It's interesting because in our practice, a lot of what we do is to create income strategies in retirement. And really the only true measure of success is to make sure that your clients have the retirement that they want, envision, dream about, and don't run out of money when they pass away.
Right.
Like that's simplest way to put it is that they're able to do every single thing that they want to do in retirement without running out of money.
Yeah. I mean, because people come in, hopefully they've talked about it. They have their lifetime bucket list, right? They have their goals to achieve, and they want, the number one thing people want to know is, am I going to be okay and not run out of money, right? That's a given. So then once you've kind of checked that box, well, yes, we're looking good. We're going to be okay. But now how does that look versus attaining all the goals? Because if the goals are too lofty, well, maybe you could run out of money, right? So you want to make sure that stuff is balanced in there and still be able to check off all the items they want to do. Is that fair?
Well, and life changes.
Yeah,
right?
True.
So the way that retirement looks year one could look different year two, could look different year three, year four.
Right.
And an opportunity can come knocking and you may say, hey, Sean, we didn't expect this, but we've decided that we want to buy a second home, or we've decided that we want to move.
Yeah. Our favorite granddaughter wants to get married in, Spain, whatever. Right.
Yeah. Or we want to take the whole, I just had a family, that I did a review with last month. Mm-hmm. They said, hey, listen, we're retired now. The one thing we've always dreamed about is taking the entire family to Cancun.
Okay.
I'm like, well, how many people are we talking about? You've got the two of you, and are you talking about taking your kids and their spouses? No, we want to take everybody. Well, that ended up being 41 people that they wanted to take down to Cancun, which was awesome. But
yeah,
I hadn't originally planned for that in their strategy. So what we then do is say, all right, how can we adapt the plan?
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, these people, they're very frugal. They're pretty conservative when it comes to spending money. We've created a nice, which we've talked about in previous episodes, dividends that are raising into cash for them.
Okay.
And then it just became a matter of, okay, can you do this? And is it going to negatively impact your long-term plan? Well, through planning, they actually needed to pull, it was like $60,000 for this trip. And what we needed to be able to make sure of is if they pulled money out, they just didn't blow their plan up financially.
Yeah.
But it also didn't hurt them tax-wise. Because then we didn't want to push them into a higher tax rate that potentially affected their Medicare premiums for the coming years.
Yeah.
So we strategically pulled money out over in December, and this trip was 14 months away. We pulled money out in December. Then we pulled a little bit more money out in the following January. And then we pulled the last amount out in the following year that they were going on the trip when they had to make the final payment. Gotcha. So it allowed us to keep their tax rates low, keep them under the Medicare thresholds. We were able to build up dividends to basically pay for the entire trip without them having to sell off any assets. Mm-hmm. And then they just went and enjoyed it. They didn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, because basically my next point I was going to ask you was providing confidence right into the future of the plan, which obviously, breaking that down like you just did was kind of showing how that works, because it's not just the immediate need of getting to retirement, but it's getting through retirement. So having confidence in the future pieces as well, and moving parts, because to your point, life is going to change. And so I guess measuring success also would come back to the adaptability of not only the plan, but of the users themselves, right? Because if you go in to see an advisor and you're very rigid in your focus and you don't take into account that you're going to change or that you're going to need to adapt to whatever circumstances, you could be doing yourself a disservice, right? Because life is going to life. Murphy's going to do his Murphy's Law thing.
Well, and switching your mindset from it's hard to switch from working to retirement.
Sure. Yeah.
That's one mindset. But the other mindset shift that's really difficult is shifting from I got to grow to how do I sustain income? And maybe I'm going to give up a little bit of return in certain portions of my portfolio to create stability and income.
Right.
And shifting from, well, I'm just trying to grow my money to I want to use my money, but I want to use it in a matter where I still have money at the very end to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And if inheritance is important to you, great. We plan for that. If charitable giving is important, we look at that from a strategic perspective. There's a lot more that goes into the planning than just, are you going to have enough income? Because that's a pretty simple math problem to accomplish, but making sure that as time goes on, that you're getting returns that are expected for your risk level and your allocation, and then allowing you to do the things that you ultimately want to do and live the retirement that you have become accustomed to and you want to live.
Yeah, and really that's two great points. I mean, obviously the big gear shift of no longer working to retirement is one, massive gear shift to get used to in that mindset. And then that second one, truly is the you've been growing it. Some people really struggle, right? So you've been growing money for 40 years or whatever, and then you go, I don't feel confident in now spending it. And typically we see that when there isn't a buy-in or an understanding or even a plan. Like there's not a buy-in to the plan, or there's just not a plan at all. You typically see those kind of questions where it's like, I don't have confidence in how I'm gonna use this money through retirement. It's like, well, because you don't feel good and safe that you can go do the things on your bucket list and still be able to make it to the end of the line, kind of thing.
Or you hear, hey, my neighbor Jim, he got 15% return on his portfolio. Why did I only get 11?
Because you're being more conservative.
Yeah, Jim didn't need $80,000 a year in dividends.
Yeah. Or he's younger and didn't have to risk as much or whatever, right?
Right. So it's just there's a lot of shift in your mindset that has to happen, not just financially, mentally, physically, whatever it may be. But what we see a lot of is that where clients that we work with all have the same goal.
Yeah.
For the most part, they want to live the lifestyle that they've dreamed and they've become accustomed to.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a pretty consistent goal. What that looks like is different for everybody, but our job is to make sure that can happen, but it can also change with the times. Who knows what health is going to bring? Who knows what opportunities are going to arise?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got a new catchphrase for the firm. Through this episode, you've said shift a lot. So a lot of shift happens in retirement.
It does. Shift happens.
That's right. So there you go. So if you got some questions on how to shift in your retirement and you want to make sure that you're having the success you're looking for, well, then make sure you got a strategy in place. And of course, Sean and the team are here to help. Check the show notes for links on how to get in touch with them. You can find them online. You can reach out to them a number of different ways. You can get started with a number of different things. So just, again, check the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, and of course now YouTube. Hit the thumbs up and ring the notification bell for future episodes. And that's going to do it this week here for Retirement Elevated with Sean Lee. Thanks, my friend, for hanging out. Always appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
We'll see you next time here on the podcast. Catch you later.
Investment advisory services offered through Elevated Capital Advisors, LLC, and SEC Registered Investment Advisor.